Greetings and welcome to the Inside View. Today I get to do what I love to do most, play that investigative reporter and talk to you about building a business or improving your life. Today I want to talk about something that is near and dear to all of us. That's making a living, choosing a career. There is no question it's tough out there. I don't care what part of the world you live in, it appears that things are changing and major shifts are occurring. In fact, it would be hard to find anyone that's not worried about the future. You know, it seems a little bit unfair, doesn't it, that you could follow the advice given by parents and experts and get that college degree and diploma and then move on into a career only to find out that the companies you thought you could depend on for a lifetime career and retirement no longer can live up to that promise. It seems very unfair those that are just finishing school now with great hopes and aspirations of a great career, they can't even get a job. And it appears that some of the things that we were least prepared for in the traditional education are the very skills that we need to succeed. So let's dig into it. It is tough out there. Let's talk about what our options are. Well, I always like to make sure we take this from a consultant or an analyst point of view. In other words, if you were going to start to look at an industry and you could hire the best analyst or consultant, what criteria would they use? So first, I think it's really important to look at this chart. This is shocking and amazing. You can see on the graphic on the left that only 1% of the population here would be what we call wealthy at retirement. And wealthy is only defined with over $60,000 of annual income. But shift over to the graphic on the right and you will see that it says 74% of those that made it to that wealthy category owned their own business. Now I know that my father owned his own business growing up. It was good to him, but I also know that it came with a lot of risk. And those of us that know those risk takers know that whether it was a franchise or a bricks and mortar business, that a lot was on the line, and today it's a lot tougher. The stakes have been raised. And so, is there a way to own your own business and to have some real assets without all of the risk? Well, I have always been a believer in network marketing. My career, going in my early 20s, was in orthopedic devices where I would sell to orthopedic surgeons and hospitals. Total hips, total knees, spinal. I loved that. But I've always understood the power of this business model. You know, the ability to create ownership and leveraged income and security and freedom and to build and leave a legacy. I've loved it. But what I didn't love about it was that many people get fooled. I mean, they just don't know the questions to ask. And while they like to believe the person that's so excited that's only been in a day or two, and the person that brought them into the business has only been in a day or two, and they're all just regurgitating the stories that they've heard without any real knowledge, it can come back to bite them. And so this industry has some wonderful companies, but it also has a whole bunch of them that have no chance of success. So here's what I've done today. I've really tried to dig into the real difference makers of the companies that have been successful and are still growing. I introduce you to this chart called the Opportunity Renewal Cycle. This, to me, is a graphic that if you remember nothing else from this report, remember this. Because you can see as this chart starts on the bottom left there, that every new company starts off and they launch whatever product they have. Some of them are Roman candles, some of them are gimmicky in the electronics world or whatever, but they have what they have. And we know that a significant portion of them fail and never make it to what we would call that first hump. But that first hump is when that cycle has kind of come to an end. It's when the customers are no longer excited, that the competition has better products at a better price. Distributors start to lose their energy and momentum, and leaders start to leave those companies. Sometimes they fail, and sometimes they just fall back into a flat period for decades and just kind of hold on. But I believe the defining moment here that we must really understand is that if a company could ever reinvent themselves over and over and over again, they would be able to create and sustain this momentum really forever. But it comes at a cost, a real high cost, like hundreds of millions of dollars with R&D and acquisitions. So I've actually picked a company today that we're going to study, and they started in 1984, and it's a fascinating story. You can see that it's truly a story of this opportunity renewal cycle. The company is Nu Skin. 1984, all of the good, none of the bad. Let's put all the good ingredients in, none of the bad. Let's tell our story. And sure enough, they launched and had some great success. But you can see just a couple years later, they found the need to go out and expand the product line, and they created another cycle, the likes of which may not be matched in direct selling, the vertical growth that occurred with this acquisition of the Nutriol hair product from Europe. But in '92, they were off into the nutrition world. And there they had, I think they were talking phytonutrients and antioxidants back when you didn't hear those words. So way ahead of its time, but a product that's gone on to be one of the best selling in the industry. 1999, a new skincare line. And 2003, there they were with the biophotonic scanner. Now, the significance of the scanner is that it could measure the antioxidant score. You may have seen this scanner on a nationally syndicated talk show recently where they were actually discussing antioxidants and talked about the scanner because they used it to measure. Well, carrying on, they were able to use the nanotechnology then with LifePak in 2005, another spike. 2006, back to Europe to acquire the Galvanic Spa, another huge surge. 2008, we start to see a key word introduced here. ageLOC is the brand that this Nu Skin company uses for anti-aging, for the products that they are specially formulating in that space. And it's kind of interesting if you compare Apple, a great company, had its loyal users, but it was the I series of products like iTunes, iPod, iPad, iPhone. That's what really launched them and separated. It appears that ageLOC, 2008, the introduction, in 2009, they shatter all records with a new skincare system called Transformation. And then 1 year later, 2010, they shatter records again with their first nutrition product using this new gene technology. So apparently somebody has mastered this and been willing to spend the hundreds of millions of dollars that it takes to renew. So the question we ask is, can it continue? Can this ageLOC brand expansion continue, and will this company continue? I found it interesting that Dr. Joseph Chang is actually writing a book, The Aging Myth. And here you can see Dr. Dykewald, the author of Age Wave, one of my favorite books of all time, talks about empowering consumers everywhere to make choices about how they want to live. It's hard for me to understand when people start talking about genes. It wasn't a good subject for me in school. So with a little homework and talking to people, I think I get it. It seems like the people that are spending the millions and hundreds of millions of dollars in this gene space, almost all of them are focused on a single gene. You see where it says the competitors are focused on a gene. Whereas the experts that Pharmanex Nu Skin have partnered up with say, no, that isn't how it works. It's multiple genes, and they call them youth gene clusters. And there, they believe, based on the 2 products that they've released with others coming, that it's a beautiful symphony with all these genes that were not operating and working that can be reset. And I think I get it. I think I understand that, how that synergy works. So I wanted to dig more into what the products are and how they work. And so this little graphic here was really kind of an eye-opener for me. Here you see the aging factors that all of us go through. Now, I'm 59 years of age, so certainly all of these are in play for me. And these are the aging factors. Not much we can do to avoid them. But there's hope. The solutions are things like changing our diet to have a better intake of fresh fruits and vegetables, probably organic if possible, add supplementation. We can do things about our appearance, our cellular function, and body weight metabolism, and of course, the hormonal imbalance. But this seems to be the key to ageLOC and Nu Skin's growth, and that is they call it the difference demonstrated with ageLOC. In other words, validation and proof. When Truman Hunt, the president, rang the bell on Wall Street at closing and was interviewed on a national TV program, he said that even though the industry might have been in a tough time, and certainly the economy, they had decided to innovate, to spend their money. And so things like the bioscanner and the ability to scan somebody non-invasively and to give a money-back guarantee to prove that the products worked, including scientific studies and double-blinded studies. I mean, this started to make sense to me. I come out of that world again in the orthopedic world, and many of you do too, where you wanted proof. And then this one, for people who really want to see the proof, the handheld galvanic device works hand in hand with the new transformation system. Not enough just to develop this gene-based skincare product, but they had to find a device that could help cleanse the skin first and then drive in that gene-based product for better penetration and to work better. And so once again, to tie up the worldwide exclusive rights and develop those two products, well over $100 million. And then they're talking about a product in October and products to come for body weight and metabolism. Well, I'll tell you, there's not a bigger category out there, is there? And we all know that weight loss category, I mean, let's just be honest. It appears that it's never the pill or the program or the powder or the juice that you drink. It's compliance to changing your eating habits and increasing exercise that almost always spells a success. But they're now talking about calorie restriction. And so do what I did and go Google in LifeGen and look at their studies. It's fascinating. It's kind of hold on and see what this can be. And hormonal, whether it's male for testosterone or females, boy, if we can balance that with resetting the genes, I am all in. So it looks like by the estimates that I have here, almost $1 billion invested in, we'll just say in technology. That could be R&D and acquisitions. It's pretty amazing with all that together, the price to keep this innovation going. So let's dig into LifeGen. We need to. We can't just take their word for it. So LifeGen, are they for real? 300 scientific papers. 300. All on this gene expression and gene profiling. I remember hearing and reading when the human genome was mapped. I wondered what would happen, and you started to hear of the promises of some of these big companies, and they were talking about what they might be able to change and cure. But it appears that everybody was after the same thing, to develop these products, to validate them, and then to be able to substantiate the results. This company is claiming we won the race. And if you kind of look at it, you look back, yeah, there's some people using anti-aging, but no one even plays in this space. In fact, LifeGen seems to have brought to the table, along with what the Nu Skin Pharmanex group of their scientists have, the perfect marriage. Because this product now has 16 total patents. It received 2 awards, 4 published scientific articles, 14 scientific posters, and 9 oral presentations just in the last 18 months. So it's actually becoming a global phenomenon. Now, if you're like me, you get hit on a lot of big claim products. So one of the things I've started to do is I've started to ask, well, that's a big claim you've made that this little pill you're going to swallow will literally go in and it's going to do this amazing anti-aging thing. If that's true, show me the scientific presentations that you were invited to give. Well, I don't think we have any. That doesn't make sense to me because you see, they're all searching for people to go out and show their science. And so you just really hope that it doesn't fall back into that category of somebody who's just hyping something, because that's never good for any of us. Well, it's always fun to see where the media is going with this too. So you see programs like CNN, 60 Minutes, Charlie Rose Show, CNBC. They know it's a hot topic. They do their research. What do their listeners and viewers want to watch? And it appears that the gene expression story was huge. Who did they choose? Dr. Richard Weinrich, and coincidentally, a partner in LifeGen. So I find that it just seems to it's got me excited that a company can continue to do what they're doing. And I'm trying to be just objective here and look at it, as I say, as a reporter or an analyst. Now, what does it take to put together an unmatched scientific team? You know, somebody that's not just following the status quo, but they really do perform these double-blinded, placebo-controlled studies. They actually want to make sure that the products work, where they test purity and potency and safety of the materials as well as the finished product. And they actually come out and give guarantees on some of their products and talk about their processes being pharmaceutical methods. It's pretty amazing to see what they've pulled together. But this is another one that really got me. This Scientific Advisory Board. Now, when I was in the orthopedic business, when we would come out with a new joint, there were several doctors that wanted to put their name on the product only if they had read the clinicals or been part of the clinical studies and were absolutely 100% sure that it wasn't going to embarrass them. Well, as you see this list of famous scientists that have accomplished many things, the experts in their field, not the local person with a white lab coat, but the top of their field, money cannot buy them to walk away from what they're doing and to endorse or sit on a board like this if there was any chance that their image could be tarnished. It's a very impressive group of people. You need to Google in this too if you want and just look at the bios and see the collection. So it comes down to partnerships for me. I mean, who do you have working with you? You'll never be able to bring all the people in-house to staff. You're going to have to go outside. And so it looks like 75 full-time scientists from many disciplines that Nu Skin owns, 3 research centers globally, and then this anti-aging advisory board. Well, it appears that the miracle that was pulled off that nobody else has been able to do is they acquired this Pharmanex company that was not a direct selling company, but rather the first company that had labs and research scientists from all different specialties, and they had been dead set on bringing those pharmaceutical protocols to the nutrition world. And so they teamed up there, and with the affiliation of major universities throughout the world, they're able to double or almost triple the amount of scientists they can work with. And then, of course, you have LifeGen, and who's tied up the worldwide exclusive rights, once again, Nu Skin, and 30 years of experience there. And so it appears that this platform may be set for the next 10 years. Well, I always like to look at the trends and the market size. Is it big? Is it small? Is it shrinking? Is it increasing? Well, it looks like the obsession to stay young, it's pretty amazing. You look at 2009, looks to me like about $175 billion there. Then look at 2013, I'm going to put that at about $280 billion. What that says to me is, you know what? You don't have to take business away from your competitor. All you really have to do is just grow with the market, and you could grow hundreds of millions or billions of dollars if you're truly positioned ahead. And so who's buying it? Would it be the baby boomers? That's that group we always talk about. Of course it's the baby boomers. Those born 1946 to 64, they have the money and the lifestyle, and they want to keep their youth as long as possible and not show their age. But look at this. This shocked me as well. In 2009, more than 91 million consumers purchased anti-aging products just here in the U.S. Approximately half of them were under the age of 40. I had no idea. So people are wanting to keep their youth, not lose it and try to gain it back. So any good due diligence would say, okay, let's get right down to the numbers and try to figure this thing out. It's hard to do it when a company's not publicly traded. I have asked reps that are at the top of the company before, what was your annual sales last year? And they might say, oh, 100 million. I can talk to somebody from the same company, they'll say, oh, it was 200 million. I heard from so-and-so it was 100 million. No, it's 200 million. I mean, you just don't know who you can trust because it's not publicly traded. It's nice to see, in this case, that Nu Skin Enterprises is transparent. They are public. So 26 years, publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange. By the way, go look at that track record. Stock was selling for about $10 a share. It's been up to mid-30s and very, very, very impressive track record. A 5A1 Dun & Bradstreet rating, doesn't get any better than that, operating in 50 plus countries, on and on and on, very financially secure. I found this one interesting, the claim of paying the highest commissions among all the publicly traded companies on the New York Stock Exchange. That's something that being from the orthopedic industry for all those years and then moving into more of this type of marketing, I've been fascinated with the claims of how much a percentage a person pays in compensation. And so you dig into it, you realize commissions are only gained one way, and that is through new sales. If a company can put on $200 million of new sales in a year, they're going to have a significant portion of that to pay back in, quote, new commissions, in addition to the existing commissions they were already paying their people. And if they can do that year after year after year after year, and especially catch a spike like this anti-aging platform, and it looks like the ageLOC brand that's poised to dominate, that's why this is exciting. Well, are they ready for it? Look at this. Right at the base of the Wasatch Mountains, you see the existing tower on the left and a $90 million anti-aging innovation center that is under construction now. Extremely impressive. A place for those scientists to come, a place for their reps and their employees, and a place where they can actually create this anti-aging culture and environment. And I can honestly say, you don't want a cult in direct selling. You want a culture. You don't want to be involved in something that's uncomfortable. You want to be part of people that are good people, which just brings me to my final slide. And that is the heart of the company. You can tell a lot by what the owners and founders do, especially after they themselves have made a lot of money. I find it very gratifying to see that they have now donated 200 million meals that their customers and distributors have purchased, and then they have been donated to a charity and delivered, helping people after disasters, people who obviously can't fend for themselves in some of the remote places in the world. Now, placing a call before I did this, I see that it's already up to 220 million meals as of today. So it continues to grow. What a force for good, which is one of the things the company wants to be, in addition to paying more commissions than anybody in direct selling, their stated goals. So I'd simply say to you, that's my report for today. Don't be fooled. I have been, I must confess, and you can easily be fooled. But if you really think of it the way we've laid it out today and ask the right questions, it is never going to be about that sizzle hot little gimmicky electronic internet, one product niche, one hit wonder Roman candle. History has proven that it takes a sustained amount of money, commitment, and as we said, innovation, innovation, innovation. And so it appears that ageLOC, gene expression, may be the ultimate business for you. Well, that's it for our series today and our session today. I wish you all the very best. Choose wisely.